You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
Chris, they're on to back.
Welcome to episode number 1 of the episode number 50. Episode number 98 of the episode number 145 of the Battered Herons podcast.
You know who else is back? Aliens.
Right now with the whole Messi conspiracy, all is set up for him. It's tiring to hear the same garbage and people whining.
If Suarez is here, that means I'm here. You're gonna have to deal with
That
it.
is so
and
good.
If you don't like it, I'm gonna start fighting people, bro.
I think he deserves, to be battered.
I've said
think
worse
we might
things
have
on the pitch. I've said worse things on the pitch. I mean,
145 this guy. And that's it.
Not gonna lie to you, Solana. You're probably better off just not saying anything. He said we suck without Messi.
Yeah, we suck without Messi. Like, what?
happy 200.
We done this 200 times, Chris.
I mean, after that introduction, I'm doing terrible. I didn't know that, but
What a disaster. This show is just a disaster. I'm not even gonna sign out.
And while you're at it, get that thumb, put it to work, like and subscribe.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Solana, the Herons are back. Welcome to another Battered episode, Herons episode number 223, of course, of the Battered Herons podcast. I am your host, Chris Durant, today, and alongside me, I have Solana, who has been watching this game live streaming, guys. If you guys weren't checking it out, you guys missed a good one. Solana, how'd that go?
oh, the game was a shit show. Complete shit show. I'll tell you something. If you are an MLS fan or you are, watch this, if you are Don Garber, this is not what you wanted to happen. I mean,
Absolutely.
you put this on to celebrate, to have this essentially a party and celebrate your league, and you just get thrashed by the league that you want to be, superior than. It's got to suck.
Well, that's the whole deal about this whole All-Star deal, where it's like this is where kind of like where everybody would wish to have like the whole East-West thing like other leagues have. But I mean, when you're playing against another league and the best of that league, there's no way you can come out of this positive if you lose a game. Even if it was 2-1, 3-1, I mean, at the end of the day, you don't want to take a loss. And to take a loss the way that we did was pretty awful. I mean, the game was awful, aside from like the first 20 minutes, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the first 20 minutes were decent. I think really the whole first half was kind of back and forth. It was an open game. You got to see some nice goals. But after they scored that second goal, the Liga MX, I think it was kind of over. I think you could see the players on the MLS side were just kind of whatever, just going through the motions. Other than Bernadeschi, and I was talking on the live stream I was on, at one point I looked up at my TV and I see a blonde dude going down, striking down the right-hand side. I was like, oh my God, it's Breck Shea. I thought it was Breck Shea for a second. He looked like him.
He did.
With the hair like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Listen, Bernadeschi, I thought that he was going to get one for sure this game. He looked hungry as hell. I kind of felt bad for Mukhtar. I felt like he looked out of place, to be honest. Bowanga had like 1.5 touches in the game. I mean, I guess, this isn't going to be like a full-blown recap like how we do our post games for Inter Miami. But for the most part, I mean, we could talk a little bit about it. Well, I mean, since the All-Star, what was it? The skills competition was yesterday. I watched the whole thing. With my son, the skills competition. I love skills competitions just generally with National Football League, with the NBA. I love skills competitions because it's fun. Like that is like sports to its core, having fun and making games, throwing balls in baskets and, kicking balls through, certain sticks or whatever the case is. So to me, I love the skills challenge. What was your opinion of yesterday's sort of all-star skills challenge? Because there's a lot of people that didn't like it. They think it's like theatrics.
No, I'm with you. So I personally think the MLS skills challenge for the All-Star, I don't want to say weekend because I'm used to saying All-Star weekend, but for the All-Star, game or whatever festivities is the best one of all of them. The Home Run Derby has already lost its luster. The NBA skills challenge is an absolute joke. The dunk contest is done. I'd still like watching the 3-point challenge because it's cool to see how many threes, but with the guys that are in there. And then the NFL, okay. I mean, yeah, the Pro Bowl is okay, but I don't really love the different things that they do there. I think they play like a flag football game too. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I really love what the MLS does, especially like with the targets and kicking it. And it makes it cool. Goalie wars is cool.
Yes,
Now,
it does.
can they make it better? I think they can. Instead of doing it how they did it last night, where it was, MLS Next versus the pros,
Yeah.
I would have liked to see maybe like some of the American goalkeepers versus some of the, versus the world goalkeepers. Like get me Crepeau, Lloris, and one of the other foreign goal and Berkey, and then on the other side, give me Drake and two of the other American guys, that maybe Sean Johnson and somebody else. And that would be interesting because you would have more of a matchup.
That would.
But overall, I think it's fantastic what they do. And it's for the fans. It's not meant to do anything other than put a smile on somebody's face, go have a beer, go eat a hot dog or drink a Coke or whatever that you like to do, and just have some fun for once and not have to worry about a scoreline.
Yeah. I mean, look, like I mentioned before, I love the whole All-Star skills challenge. To me, I think that the players are having tons of fun when they're doing that. They're enjoying themselves. I mean, obviously there's competition, but I mean, they're having fun mostly. It's not really about like beating Liga MX in that situation. Now we turn to a game where tonight we had Liga MX play against the MLS All-Stars. Now that's going to get competitive, right? Because that's one thing that I kind of realized over the last couple of years that I've been watching this a little bit more closely, is that soccer isn't necessarily like basketball or football where you can kind of like lag on defense and it's just an offensive game. Like these guys, when they play both sides pretty decently hard, like they do try. Now MLS obviously didn't try as well as Liga MX tonight, right? But for the most part, like in the beginning of the game, it was really competitive, back and forth, a lot of tussling for position. And so in the beginning, I'm like, ooh, these guys are taking it really serious. But then obviously after the first two goals, right, Liga MX ends up getting a goal on us on the 16th minute. A minute later, Cucho Hernandez gets a beautiful cross from Rossi, who got a beautiful lob pass from Busquets. Yeah. And that just turned it right around. At that point, I'm like, okay, sky's the limit at this point. But then you start to see some of the players come off the field. You see Cucho come off. You see Busi come off. You see Alba come off. You see a lot of other players come off. And then it's like, okay, I think that this is going to get a little bit harder at this point. I mean, at least that's how I felt. So I don't know how you felt.
I mean, honestly, I didn't expect it to be as I guess one-sided as it was, with that scoreline 4-1. But I also didn't expect the teams to play too competitive either. Knowing that this is kind of the beginning or the opening ceremonies of Leagues Cup, knowing that these players are all going to be playing this weekend against each other with their club teams, you have to think these guys are going to go out there with the idea of, I'm not going to go get hurt. I'm going to do whatever I can to avoid getting hurt. And while I was doing live stream, that was what I said. I said, first and foremost, let's just hope nobody gets hurt, other than Luchak. Other than Luchak, right? But I'm just kidding. But you don't want anybody to get hurt on either side. Because you want to have a good Leagues Cup. At least you want to have good competitive games. So you don't want to have anybody hurt. Now, was the game fun? The first 20 minutes. The rest was just a formality. It felt like the NBA All-Star game. By the way, what's up, Mitch? He says, "What's up, fan?" Yes, it could have been a penalty.
It's weird because they were mentioning in the broadcast. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I read the rule book, but they were mentioning in the broadcast that regardless if it hits off the foot, if it hits the hand, then it's a handball, right? And then if you're making your body bigger than it's naturally supposed to. Now, he's sticking his right leg out. Naturally, your left hand sticks out in some way when you're walking, right? When you're stepping forward with your right, you sort of kick back with your left hand, right? When you're just generally walking or whatever. So I do understand that just naturally, maybe that movement of kicking his foot out brought the left hand without purposely making his body bigger, but it did make his body bigger. So I think it should have been called a penalty.
I agree. I mean, even though you're like saying when you walk, it's kind of
Allegedly.
natural. It's kind of
Yes.
natural to move your arms. It doesn't matter if your arm is a little sticking out. It's a handball. It's a penalty. It's a penalty.
Yes.
So, and I saw a little earlier, Tommy mentioned that they got to do something with similar to what the NHL All-Star does with the 3-on-3 and all that. And I mentioned that on the stream. I said I think it would be super cool if
Like
they
a
would do
5-on-5.
4 teams similar to the TST. Did you watch the TST, the soccer tournament this year? That's
I watched a little bit of it. Yes.
So I would love it if they named like 4 captains. Like Messi was a captain, Ricky Puig was a captain, Bernadeschi another captain. Like 4 of the top players captains. Make your 7-on-7 team. Pick players based off of the All-Star pool, and then have them play against each other. And the winner takes like $2 million or $1 million. That way you give them something to play for. And they're playing against each other. But it would be really, really cool to see something like that. I think playing this game in the middle of the season just doesn't make sense. There's too much at stake and the players can get hurt. So if you do it at the end of the season, it would make more sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think honestly that your idea is gold. And it's a lot more entertaining, right? I mean, you play those kind of games, it's literally back and forth. 4-on-4, 5-on-5 on little pitches, right? That would be phenomenal. And it would be high scoring too. I mean, because you could just be able to sort of nail it from anywhere if you're a freaking professional football player, right?
Right. I mean, you saw how fun it was watching like Pat McAfee and some of these other guys play, and even Nani, who's just finished playing a couple years ago with that team up north. Dude, he put on a show for the fans out there. Could you imagine what it would be like to see Messi play in like a little small-sided game? Like, come on, man. I got to see the UEFA legends play the Turkish legends when I went out to the Champions League final last year in Turkey in a small-sided game. It was 5v5. Mind you, these guys are super slow, but it was so cool because they're still skillful. And in a small-sided field, dude, they were megging people, giving taquitos. Like, it's just super cool. It's just a different vibe.
Well, and I'll tell you this much. Danny is mentioning here, we need to do away with the MLS All-Star games. They're just constantly getting embarrassed. I think if it's East and West, I don't think that there's a need to get rid of it. But when you're bringing in other leagues, if you play each other, it's East versus West. And there's more buy-in, I guess, from like the fandom, right? But I don't think that we should be playing other leagues at this point. Especially when we're trying to like surpass leagues like Liga MX. It's like what you said, Solana. If we keep losing to the best of the MX, we're never going to be seen better than them. Exactly. Other than maybe financially.
Exactly. And I mean, don't even get me started with that, especially with what the commissioner said today. Like that, we're gonna save all that for tomorrow. I don't want to get into any of that tonight. Let's stick to All-Star talk.
Well, no, you know what? We're getting towards the end, right? Because we're not going to hang tight too long, guys. And look, everybody that's in the chat, much appreciated for hanging out with us. We really thank you guys. Take the time, like and sub if you haven't done so yet. I do kind of want to get a little bit of your opinion because just so you guys know, everybody that's listening live or in the chat or listening afterwards, tomorrow we do intend on coming back on tomorrow night. And tomorrow we're going to be attacking this Leagues Cup tournament coming up. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in terms of people mentioning boycotting and things like that. And I know that it's been a very sort of sensitive subject that's been kind of going around the Twitter sphere and the atmosphere. And I know that you have your opinions on it, Solana. And I guess if you want to tease it a little bit, because I do kind of want to understand your opinion a little bit on it. But yeah, things have been sort of quaking lately. So
they have been, and I've been a little vocal on social media talking about it as well. So the only thing I'm going to tease is, and Danny, we've talked about this with Danny and other pods before.
Yeah.
I've been a big supporter of the U.S. Open. I think it's a great historic competition.
Yeah.
Let's just say I'm losing my respect for that competition, and I might have some interesting choice words tomorrow. So you're definitely gonna want to tune in. If you like a Solana, a Solana rant, tune in tomorrow.
Yeah, and I definitely want to be able to sort of do a little bit more research in terms of money wise, what it is that the MLS is sort of, I guess, compensating or overcompensating in order to keep a tournament like this alive. I mean, there's so many sort of things that are happening in the background that I think a lot of people don't really comprehend. I mean, myself fully included. I haven't really done as much research as I'd like to, but we're definitely going to get into that tomorrow because it is a big topic, and we do have Leagues Cup coming around the corner. We have a lot of people that are not really happy with the tournament. Talking a little bit about the U.S. Open Cup as well. So we're definitely going to get into that tomorrow. And by the way, guys, if you guys haven't checked it out, Danny and a panel of other people that we've done some podcasts with and some people that we haven't, they did a Battered MLS, the first episode yesterday, the Battered MLS show. So if you can be able to go ahead and check that out, just look it up on YouTube and, throw us a subscribe and a like there. Check out the show. It was really good, especially for show number 1. By the way, tomorrow we are going to be taking callers. So if any of you do have any opinions in regard, it's going to be amazing.
I will bow out before you take callers. That is dangerous. It is dangerous to have a live mic and Solana with callers. So I would join whenever you guys want me to join, and then before you take, we'll see how it's going. If I'm in a good mood, we'll take some callers.
Yeah, because definitely, look, guys, I mean, for those of you that have been kind of kicking it with us, you guys are awesome in the chat. Pablo Golasso is saying 145 the phones. I mean, you guys know how it gets litty like a titty in the chat. Now, we took calls 2 episodes ago, and it was a blast. It was a phenomenal experience. And for something like this with Leagues Cup, with a lot of different sort of opinions, it's going to be a phenomenal show. So I can't wait. Overall, before we go ahead and keep talking about that, overall, MLS All-Star game, I thought it was a complete garbage dumpster fire. I think it is truly embarrassing to the MLS to lose in this fashion 4-1. I mean, Liga MX scored 2 goals back-to-back in the 68th and 69th minute. Not a good look. And I think that we need to keep it at least East versus West. Other than that, I feel like everybody had fun yesterday with the All-Star Skills Challenge. That was pretty cool. I guess, Solana, what are your final thoughts with everything that happened with the All-Star 2-day series?
I mean, I think it was a complete botch by the MLS's part. I think if you're going to play the Liga MX All-Stars, you shouldn't do it in Columbus. You should have done somewhere in LA or in Texas, where you're going to get a lot of Mexican fans out there at a higher price. I don't know if you heard, but there was still tickets available today for $20.
Absolutely.
And by the way, there's tickets available for Saturday's Inter Miami game, and we'll talk about it tomorrow for $20. Thank you. I purchased some. I will be there on Saturday. I am not boycotting. I support the home team. Doesn't matter the tournament. So I will be there. And thank you so much for not going, to those of you that are boycotting, because I was able to buy $20 tickets. So,
it's going to be a blast.
It's going to be a blast. And the only thing else I wanted to say, not to get into gas bagging time, but hey, buddy, Cobra Kai season 6 is out. Watching, and wow.
I'm only 3 episodes in. I'm only 3 episodes in. So do not go past the episode 3 for those of you in the chat.
I haven't yet. I just finished 3, so
okay.
I'll start watching in about half an hour.
Nice, yeah, and we'll gas bag at some point this week, especially since there's not going to be too much to talk about a little bit later on. We are going to have like a full-blown gas bagging episode. Stancy, you need to go do something with your life. You need to go watch Cobra Kai immediately. Okay, Mitch, you as well. Any of you that haven't watched Cobra Kai, you need to do that right now. Okay.
Hit first, hit hard.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry,
Now,
strike first, strike hard.
that's right. Strike first, strike hard. Now, guys, before we go, I do want to go ahead and give a shout out to Danny. For those of you, because One World, One Goal is mentioning in the comments, shout out to Danny with Gressel on his shirt. For those of you who don't know, Danny did appear on I believe it's the Player Manager podcast with Julian Gressel. And guys, if you guys haven't checked it out, you guys got to check it out. Okay. He had the show face and basically apologized to Gressel face to face. And Gressel was really cool about it. His co-host was really cool about it. Very cool show. They did a really great job, and it seemed like they had a lot of fun, which is very nice, very refreshing. And if you guys haven't checked it out, check it out. It was a really cool episode, and shout out to Danny for that. So
yeah, and we will address a couple of the things that folks have talked about since it's just a short show today. We will address it tomorrow. So we'll address a little bit of the Argentina-Morocco debacle today. We'll talk a little bit about it with you and Danny, and then we'll also talk a little bit about the USA and France. We'll talk some Olympic soccer tomorrow. We could throw that into the show sheet.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. That's going in the show sheet. Stancy saying Danny did great. Gressel is a sweetheart, and he'll be more of a sweetheart if he keeps crossing into Robert Taylor. No Diego Gomez. Even though I owe Diego Gomez an apology, he'll get it this week. I promise you guys. I'm just making sure that it's notarized. Okay.
It has to be in Spanish.
It will be in Spanish. Absolutely. Right. It's going to be in Spanish.
Actually, it could be in English since he's going to be moving to England. He's probably going to have to start learning a little bit of English. So maybe you could do it both English and Spanish.
I'm going to do it English and Spanish. Yep.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. So, guys, Solana, any last words before we go ahead and end the show today?
Nah, bro, I love you, and you're looking fresh as hell in that new Inter Miami kit. By far, one of the best kits the MLS has ever produced.
Absolutely. And right here, who mentioned this? Give me just a second. I saw it somewhere.
Yeah, they asked if that was your favorite kit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Steve Munoz asking if it's my favorite kit. Listen, I'm not a Dolphins fan, but this is clean, bro. This is clean. If you don't have this kit, you got to get it. You got to get it on Fanatics. It's way cheaper than going to the store. Or you can just go get it, on the side somewhere. Get a knockoff. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a really good, quality at some point anyway. So, and Mr. Krabs,
hit me up. I got the connect.
Hit up Solana. He's got the plug, guys. Mr. Krabs says he won't be writing an apology letter. It's coming, baby. Okay. Those are my final words. So
I want the Tata apology letter.
Yeah, no, all of you in this chat, you all need to write an apology letter to Tata, all of you. And I want it mailed to Tata, okay? Via Robert Taylor. He'll deliver it for you guys. All right. So, guys, again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. And Solana, you're the fucking best. Thank you guys so much. For those of you that are listening on audio, give us a 5 stars, like, comment, put down Daniel Granada Hearts Gressel. Okay. And guys, for those of you who are in the chat, thank you guys so much for hanging tight with us and kicking in the chat with us. Look forward to tomorrow's episode. We're going to be talking about Leagues Cup, boycotting, all kinds of other stuff. It's going to be a complete disaster, or it's going to be a beautiful disaster. We're taking callers too. So prepare your statements and come on board with us, because it is going to be a blast.
I'm taking my chill pills tomorrow.
Yes. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so. Show the fam some love. Thank you guys, Batter fam. And until the next one, have a good one. Deuces.
See ya.